In this movie, I'll show you how to work with multiple open images, including how to switch between images from the keyboard. And so notice that I have a total of 5 images open, as indicated by these 5 title tabs up here at the top of the screen. And I can switch from one open image to another just by clicking on its title tab like so. Another way to switch between open images is to press Control-Tab, and that's going to be Control-Tab both on the PC and on the Mac. On the Mac, if you press Command-Tab instead, you'll switch to a different application. Now, those of you who are familiar with the Mac may know another keyboard shortcut, Command-Tilde, and the tilde key is that key in the top left corner of a US keyboard. And by the way, that trick works on the PC as well. However, instead of pressing Command-Tilde, you press Control-Tilde like so. All right, but if you only want to remember one of them, then Control-Tab is the way to go. And notice when the last image is active, pressing Control-Tab goes ahead and cycles around to the very first image. All right, now, while only one image can be active at any given point in time, you can view multiple images on screen if you like. And to do that, you go up to the window menu, choose Arrange, and then choose any one of these options right here, such as 2-up vertical. Now, at this point, for some reason, the 4th image got scooted over into its own window, as you can see right here. So again, I want to stress, even when you're viewing multiple images at the same time, you can only work on the active image. And the active image is indicated by this bright type up here in the title tab. And so right now, this kid with the hat is active. If I were to click on this title tab instead, then the doctor image would be active instead. Now notice that the kid with the hat is by himself over here on the right-hand side of the screen, where all the other images are sharing a spot with the doctor. And that's true even though we can't quite see all of the title tabs. Notice that. Now I could click on this one right here in order to switch to it, but I'm still not seeing that first image, the woman against the green background. And so if I wanted to switch over to it, then I would need to click this double arrow icon right here, which offers me a pop-up menu of all the images that are open in the left-hand window. You can also drag an image into its own floating window by grabbing its title tab and dragging it and dropping it loose, like so. And now notice that it appears in its own floating window, even if it covers up the right-hand panel. All right, now a difference between the Mac and the PC. When you're working in a floating window like so, and you zoom out by pressing Control- or Command- on the Mac, by default, the window is not going to scale here on the PC. It is going to scale on the Mac. And that is a function of a traditionally different set preference setting, which you can get to, if you're so inclined, by going to the Edit menu here on the PC. That's going to be the Photoshop menu on the Mac, dropping down to Preferences, and then choosing Tools, as we've done before. And then notice this checkbox right here, Zoom Resizes Windows. On the Mac, it's turned on. On the PC, it's turned off. It's just the way things have been forever and ever. And so if I were to turn it on and then click OK, notice now if I press Control- here on the PC, I end up not only zooming out, but I also resize the window. The same goes for when I press Control+, and that's going to be Command+ on the Mac. All right, but I don't really want this thing to be in its own window. And so what I'm going to do is consolidate everybody back together by going to the window menu, choosing Arrange, and choosing Consolidate All to Tabs. In which case, it looks like a couple of my tabs have gotten switched around. And that is going to affect the behavior of that Control-Tab keyboard shortcut. So notice, even though the kid with the hat is now the last image, at least here on screen, Photoshop thinks it's the 4th open image. And so if I press Control-Tab, notice I go back to the first image and I skip that guy altogether. Whereas if I want to move backward, by the way, I can press Control-Shift-Tab. And again, that's going to be Control-Shift-Tab on the Mac as well, which takes me back to the doctor image right here. And then if I press Control-Shift-Tab again, I'm going to switch to the kid in the hat. Now, if that bothers you, if you don't want things to be in the wrong order, you can actually drag these title tabs back and forth like so. However, you need to be very careful because if you drag just even slightly down, you're going to end up with a floating window, which is not what we want. So I'll just go ahead and drag that guy back up there. Notice I'm dragging and dropping it when I can see a blue rectangle around the entire image window. and that will put that guy back into place. He'll still be in the wrong order, so now I'll need to drag that title tab ever so carefully over to the left, like so, at which point everybody is now in order. And so you can see if I press Control-Shift-Tab to move backwards, I will move to the third image, and then back to the second image, and finally back to the very first image. And those are a few ways to work with multiple open images here inside Photoshop.